Hello friends, within this tutorial we will see the concept of procedure with reference to VB.NET. Before moving towards what is procedure, types of procedure and rest of the things, let's consider one scenario. As we know that whenever we develop any application, there is some code or there are the series of statements that are to be written at more than one places within our application. So in this scenario, there are two options which we can use. First is we can write the same series of statements wherever it is needed within our application. Means we can say that we need to duplicate those statements as and when needed. And the second option is procedure, within which there is no need to duplicate the statements. So hello friends, this is Dr. Nikisha Jariwala. Welcome to the tutorial of VB.NET. If you have not subscribed the channel, subscribe it and also click on the bell icon so that you never miss the update. Also like and share the video. If you are an Instagram user, then you can also take benefit of that because I also upload my videos on Instagram. The handler for my Instagram account is present in the description box. So now let's start with our tutorial. Now, what is procedure? We can say it is made up of series of statements, and those series of statements can be called whenever required and they can be executed. Means we can say that a procedure allows you to package your code into a single unit. Each procedure can handle one and only one task, so that we can say that it can be remembered easily. After the execution of the procedure, the execution of the statements can be continued from the statement that is called the procedure. And we can also pass values within the procedure, and we can also return the values from the procedure. These procedures can be created, we can say, either in the structure or in the class or in the module. So they can be called whenever they are needed. There are two types of procedure in VB.NET, subroutine and functions. Now first of all, let's see the syntax of subroutine. These are the keywords that can be used with subroutine as well as with the function. Overloads, overrides, overridable, not overridable, must override, shadows, shared. These are the keywords which has some meaning. I will explain you later. And these are the access modifiers. Some also say it as an access specifier. It is also known as visibility modes, which will decide the scope of your subroutine. That is public, protected friend, or private. After that, sub and then subroutine name and an optional argument list. Then we can also write statements, we can also write exit sub, then can be another statements, and the procedure will end with end sub keyword. Now let's see the meaning of each and every word that is written within this syntax. Now what is overloads? As we know the concept of overloading. So if we want to implement the concept of overloading with the help of procedure or with the help of subroutine or with the help of function, then we need to specify overloads keyword in VB.NET. Means we can say whenever there are the subroutines or there are the procedures within the class with the same name but different argument. So overloads keyword will indicate that. Now another keywords are overrides and overridable. These two keywords are used in the concept of method overriding. As we know that method overriding means the prototype or the signature of the procedure will be the same. That is, either it can be a subroutine or it can be a function. So the signature is same but the scope is different. That is, one procedure is present in the base class and another procedure is present in the derived class. And if we want to implement the concept of method overriding in VB.NET, then we need to use these keywords within the classes. That is, overrides indicates that the procedure can override an identically named procedure in the base class. Means overrides keyword is to be specified with the procedure in the derived class, and overridable keyword is to be specified with the procedure in the base class, which indicates that the procedure can be overridden by an identically named procedure in the derived class. So it is to be written in the base class. Another keywords are not overridable, means it will indicate that this procedure cannot be overridden in the derived class. Must override indicates that the implementation of the procedure is not present within the class. So this procedure has to be overridden within the derived class so that it can be implemented. As I have already specified that public, protected friend, and private are the access specifier, access modifier, which are to be used with the procedure, that is either with the subroutine or with the function. By default, public keyword is used. Now as we are looking the syntax of subroutine, so over here sub is the keyword which will indicate that the procedure is a subroutine. After that, procedure name, or we can say subroutine name, which is a user defined name that is given to the subroutine by the user. And then optional argument list means we can say that if we want to pass values within the procedure, if we want to pass parameters within the procedure or our subroutine, then we can use this argument list section of the syntax. Now this arguments can be passed in different ways. First is we can pass the argument as a value. And if we want to pass argument as a value, then it is possible with the help of by-val keyword, which specifies that an argument is passed in such a way that the called procedure, means the procedure cannot change the value of that argument of the calling code. Means if the value of this argument is changed within the procedure, then also the actual value of this argument is not affected. So that is call by value or passing the argument as a value. Another is call by reference or pass by reference. It specifies that an argument is passed in such a way that the called procedure can change the underlying values of the argument in the calling code. Means if the value of the argument is changed within the procedure, the same value can be found in the calling code. Means it will affect the value of that particular argument in the calling code. And the last one is optional keyword. We can also say it as a default argument. Means there are some scenario that sometimes we need to omit some of the parameters or some of the arguments within the argument list. So at that time we can use this optional keyword with those arguments. After that, there was also an exit sub statement, which indicates that if I want to exit or if I want to quit from the procedure in between, at that time we can use this exit sub keyword at that position within the subroutine, and it can be used more than one time. Another were statements. This we already know that this statement means the code that is to be executed within the subroutine, that is the series of statements, and by the end it was end sub, which will indicate the end of the procedure. So here is an example. Public sub, public is the access specifier, sub is the keyword which specifies that this procedure is a subroutine. Calculate bill is the name of the subroutine, and there are two arguments that are passed within this subroutine and both are passed as a value. So by-val keyword is used. First argument is quantity, which is of integer data type, and second argument is rate, which is of double data type. After that, one variable is declared within the subroutine, that is deem amount as double. Then the calculation has been done, that is quantity multiplied by rate, and the result is assigned within the amount variable, and that result is displayed within the message box, that is message box.show, that is within parenthesis double quotation total amount is equal to plus concatenation operator is used and amount.toString. So the amount that is calculated is displayed within the message box, and by the end it is end sub, which is the end of the subroutine. Now after creating the subroutine, we need to call that subroutine from our code, and for that the syntax is call is the keyword which is optional. Whether you use it or not, it doesn't make any difference. After that we need to specify the subroutine name, or we can say a procedure name, and if the argument are to be passed within the subroutine, then they are to be specified within the parenthesis separated by comma. For example, if I want to call this subroutine, that is calculate bill, then there are two ways. I can write call calculate bill and the values separated by comma, or directly I can write calculate bill and the arguments within parenthesis separated by comma. Now let's move on to the second type of procedure, that is function. As you can see, the syntax of the function is much similar with the syntax of the subroutine which we have already seen. Only the difference is over here. That is, instead of sub keyword, over here function keyword is used. Then function name, again optional argument list, and over here there is a difference between subroutine and a procedure. Subroutine doesn't returns any value from it, whereas function always returns a single value. So over here there is a difference. Here we need to specify the data type of the value that is to be written through the function. And after that, the similar thing, that is statements. Then instead of exit sub, we can specify exit function. Then we can also specify another statements, and by the end, to and the function and function keyword is used. Now let's see the explanation. As I have already specified, function is the keyword which indicate that the procedure is a function. Then there will be the user defined function name. As type is the data type of the return value that is written from the function. Exit function means if I want to explicitly quit from the function, then I can use this exit function statement, and as I have specified in subroutine that it can also be used more than one times, and by the end function. Now if I want to return any value from the function, as I have specified that function always return a single value. So if I want to return value from the function, then here is the syntax. Again there are two ways. Either I can use function name is equal to return value, or I can specify return keyword. Explicitly I can specify return keyword and the return value. So here is an example, that is public function. Over here public is the access specifier, function is the keyword which indicates that the procedure is the function. The name of the function is calculate bill, which is the user defined name. Then again there are two arguments that are passed within the function, and both are by value, means it is a pass by value. So the keyword by val is specified with both the arguments, that is quantity and rate, and as it is a function it will return one value, and the data type of the return value is double. So over here I have specified as double. Then I have declared one variable, that is deem amount as double. Then I have done calculation, that is quantity multiplied by rate, and the result is assigned within the amount variable that is already been declared. And instead of displaying the result within the function, I have written the value of amount variable from the function with the help of return keyword, and obviously the function will end with and function. Now after creating the function, obviously we need to call that function. So here is the syntax, return value is equal to function name and within parenthesis argument list. Over here we need to specify the variable which will handle the value that is written from the function. So return value is the variable. Let's see an example. I have declared one variable, that is deem amount as double. Amount is equal to calculate bill, and within parentheses I have specified quantity comma rate, and after that I have displayed within message box that amount variable. So this is the statement which will call the function that is calculate bill. Now another benefit, I can say that the advantage of using the function is I can also use this function calling statement in the condition, that is if calculate bill and some value is greater than 100.15, then we can write some statements as it returns the value, so it can be used within the conditional statements also. Now let's see some advantages of procedure. As we have already seen that procedure is a series of statements, but it is a logical grouping of statements. So we can say that if it is a complex application, then we can divide that complex application into a smaller chunk of code, smaller series of statements of code, and that is known as procedure. So that smaller code is easier to maintain and debug. Obviously, as I have already specified that procedure is reusable, means the series of statements that are written within the procedure is not to be written more than one time, but those statements can be called as and when needed at different places within our application. So that is the important benefit of the procedures. Another important thing is, as we know that within our application many times, or I can say every time, we face errors. Now let's consider the scenario that there are 10 statements and you have duplicated those 10 statements at many different places, and there is an error present within that 10 statements. Now what will be the scenario? What will be the case? You need to trace each and every statements within that series at all the places. And if you forget to change at a single place, then it can create issues within an application. But instead of that, if you have created a procedure with those series of 10 statements, so you need to change only at a single place, and your error will be removed at each and every place, because at another places you have only specified the calling statement and not those 10 statements. So these are the advantages of procedures. So this is the end of theory part. Now let's move on to the practical part. Let's see a small example. I have already created the project, that is VB.NET tutorials, and within that I have created one form, that is FRM procedure, which is over here. I have used the same example of calculate bill. So as we know that calculate bill takes two values as an argument. So those values I have taken from the user. So within label I have specified enter rate. Then I have specified the text box, that is txt rate. Another is enter quantity. Again I have specified the text box as I want to take input from the user, that is txt quantity. There are two buttons. First button will execute the subroutine and display the result. Second button will execute the function and it will also display the result. Now let's see the code. Obviously, first of all we need to develop two things. One is subroutine and second is function. So first of all let's see our subroutine. So here is the code, that is public sub calculate bill. I have already explained this subroutine in my theory portion, so I will not explain it again. So this is our subroutine, that is calculate bill. After that, this is my function, that is calculate amount. Obviously I cannot use the same name of both the things, or I need to specify overloads keyword, which we have already seen. But right now I don't want to implement the concept of method overloading, so I have changed the name of my function to calculate amount. And rest of the statements are same as we have seen in our theory portion. Now if I want to call this subroutine, obviously on the click event of this button I have specified calculate bill. Over here I want to take values from the text boxes, and as we know that the values present within the text boxes are of string data type. So I need to convert those values into the data type that I have already specified within my subroutine. That is quantity is of integer data type and rate is of double data type. So to convert, within calculate bill function I have specified cint, which is the conversion function which will convert the value from the text box quantity to the integer, and the second argument is obviously rate and it is of double data type. So I have used cdbl, that is convert to double, and the value that is present within the rate text box is converted. It is passed as an argument within calculate bill. So those values are assigned over here. Calculation is done. Result is assigned within an amount variable and it has been displayed within the message box. The same thing has been done with the function. So if I want to call the function on the click event of the button, obviously I have changed some statements. That is, first of all I have declared one quantity variable and I have used the value that is present in txt quantity text box, convert it with the help of cint function, and I have assigned it to qty variable which is of integer data type. Same procedure I have done with rate. That is, I have used the value from the txt rate text box, converted into double, and I have assigned to rate variable of the double data type. Then I have declared one amount variable of double data type. And then I have called my function, that is calculate amount, and I have passed this two variables, that is this two values, as an argument within the function. So this quantity and rate will be assigned to this argument. Calculation is done and the result is written from the function with the help of this return statement, and that value is assigned within this amount variable. And again that amount variable is displayed, or the value of that amount variable is displayed with the help of message box within the click event of the button. Over here the value is displayed within the subroutine itself, but in the case of function the result is declared on the click event of the button. So now let's execute our code. So here is my form. It asks me to enter rate. I will enter it as 100.15. It also asks me to enter quantity. Let's add as 10. First I will click on subroutine. So obviously it has declared total amount is equal to 1001.5. It is displayed from subroutine. I will show the difference. Remember, the message displayed is total amount is equal to 1001.5. Okay, now let's click on function and it will display 1001.5. That is only the result, but along with that it is displayed with information icon. So as I have specified within the subroutine, that is total amount equal to the amount, so it has declared the result like that. And over here I have directly specified the amount variable, and then I have used the icon that is information, so that information blue color icon with I within it was declared. So friends, this is the end of our tutorial, that is concept of procedure within VB.NET. Thank you.